Next chart I want to talk about is the NVIDIA chart. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about this because, number one, there was a reason why I didn't believe that the earnings pop was going to be sustainable. And just to show you an amazing trend line here, and this is how awesome trend lines are and how it keeps the emotion out of it, just connect the previous two bull markets in the stock, right? And what do you get? Right, so again, if we look at this chart on NVIDIA, here was a bull market, right? It was up, 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 and then the correction. Well, take that high pivot, then here was a bull market, up, 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 up. Take that, connect those 2 points, and look at the next bull market, and where did it top? Right at that line. That is amazing, folks. That is absolutely amazing. Now, having said that, what I want to show you here is one of the things I'm watching, and that's, by the way, we were on the weekly chart there. If we flip to this daily chart, there is a potential pattern formation that I'm keeping an eye on, and you should all be watching it here. And you've probably become very accustomed to this pattern formation by watching these game plans. It's a head and shoulder pattern. Now, it isn't fully formed yet, so I caution people from getting too excited. It's kind of just appearing on my radar as a possibility, but essentially what you're looking at, here's your neckline, right? And we're moving up. If we start to see this curl over and break this neckline, that's where the trigger becomes. So again, if we were to go up and continue up and take out this high, the shoulder cannot be higher than the head. That's an invalid head and shoulders. You have to have a very human-like kind of formation. Heads at the high point, shoulders on either side. That's how you have to tell. Now again, can it be slightly lopsided? Sure it can. But it can't be too wacky. In general, the most successful head and shoulder patterns are the ones that you look at and you say, yeah, that looks generally like a head and shoulders, not like a wacky Quasimodo type situation. Okay, so that's what we have there. That is something I'm keeping an eye on. Just to understand here, even if we continue up, where do you think the next resistance will be? Let's say we don't curl over as a head and shoulder. Where would resistance be? And the answer is very simple, right? If this was that trend line that we just looked on the weekly, well, then right up there, which is basically, interestingly enough, want to know something crazy? That level right up there happens to be the after hours highs from the last earnings on NVIDIA at $520. So think about that. So again, you have two possibilities. And by the way, this is investing and trading. It's looking at all possibilities. All right, so you have the possible head and shoulders. You have the possible retrace to the highs and making a new high here. What are the probabilities of that? We have to find out. We're going to watch the chart. But ultimately, you have to know all scenarios. I do know one thing, that there's a trend line now here where if we break here, that would be a big breakdown. If we break there, you'll head to this area here, which is gap window. But in my opinion, you go all the way back to 300 eventually. That's how important it would be. By the way, want to know something even crazier? Remember how we calculate the head and shoulders targets, right? So let's do that really quickly here. We're going to draw the neckline in here. And what we do is we take that plumb line, right? We take the plumb line and we drop it straight down from the highest point. So we drop it down, and that's a $96 drop, $96 drop from the high here to the line. Now we do a measured move. We take 96 and we drop it from this point right here, the break of the neckline. So let's do that right now. If we drop 96, where do we get to? There it is. We essentially, look at this. I mean, this is the stuff I just absolutely love. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but look at right here. Drag a line right across. Boom. That's cool. I mean, again, this is the kind of stuff that I live for, is finding it. It's almost like digging in the ground for treasure or something, and you just don't know when you're going to find treasure. But again, very simply put, look, I mean, the measured move from this high to here, if you do the measured move from the break point of that trend line, it gives you literally what we were just talking about, which is the gap fill. So again, it just gives us more insights. The job of an investor, a trader, a swing trader, any investor, is to really try to figure out different scenarios and which one is the most likely scenario. And that's where trend lines come in, because we know that if we hit here, the probability is a pullback. We know if we curl over and we break here, the probability is a move down here. So by doing this, again, it is very, very beneficial.